And then I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see two options. I'm going to show you what DegreeWorks looks like. So when it is available to you, you understand and know what you need to do. And then I'm going to make a scheme with you, a schedule with you using a paper scheme, because it may not be available by the time that you actually are able to register. So I want you to be able to do either DegreeWorks or a paper scheme. So let's share my screen. I'm going to show you DegreeWorks first. So DegreeWorks is not available to you as freshmen. That is something that they have to enable in order for you to be able to access it. As an advisor, I'm able to see everyone. So I'm going to use a dummy account and then show you exactly what your scheme looks like when you are able to see it. So for the sake of this session, we're going to make everyone a psychology major. And right now, I'm not going to do a minor. I just want to focus on your major. So I'm going to hit process what if. And at that time, I'm now going to be shown a scheme of a psychology major. It's going to tell me what level I am, what degree I'm actually trying to get. And remember, your psychology major at Howard, that is a natural science. So you will receive a bachelor's in science. It will tell me my major and my minor when I declare a minor. And I'll get to declaring a minor at a later date. It will also tell me what my ID is, my current classification. So when you're on campus or you're going to the offices and they ask you, what is your classification? They are asking you if you're a freshman, a sophomore, junior, or a senior. If you are a freshman by attendance, meaning this is your first year at Howard, that is how you answer that question. I am a freshman by attendance, but I am a sophomore, junior by credits. That means you have advanced standing credits or you have transfer credits that make you higher as a classification, but this is actually your first time attending the university. So remember that when people ask you your classification, you're either just a simple freshman with no transfer credits or within the freshman status, or you're a freshman by attendance with sophomore or junior credits, okay? It will also tell you who your advisor is, but do not panic if you do not see anything in that box because it has to be manually added. And sometimes in the semesters, they add it in the middle of the semester. And it also will tell you your overall GPA. This GPA is going to be the exact same GPA that will be on your transcript, okay? These requirements here, this is basically the bar that follows your actual degree completion. So every class that you take, it is telling you how far you are getting towards finishing all of the courses. However, this bar is only calculating credits to 120. It is possible for you to complete your program and still not have enough credits to get to 120. It is also possible for you to reach 120 and still not finish your program and vice versa. So you have to make sure that the program and the credits are progressing along at the same course, okay? Down here, you have 120 credits that are required. It's telling you your degree requirements in itself. If you are currently registered for classes, it will tell you you have 15 credits to register for, and then it will say you still need 105 credits or 100 credits. And then your goal is basically to take the courses on your scheme to get this number down to 0 credits needed, and this number over here to 120 exactly or 120 and above. As a graduation coordinator, I always recommend that all students actually get above 120 credits, just in case you get to your senior year and something happens. If you have exactly 120 and you don't pass a 1, a 2, or 3 credit class, you no longer can graduate if you're less than 120. But if you're above 120, like 123, 124, you still have the option of being able to graduate. Okay. And give me 1 second. Make sure you're signing in. Ms. Madison Robinson is dropping the sign-in sheet for those who just came into the room. That is how I will be communicating with you. So please sign in. All right, down here we have your COAS requirements. COAS stands for College of Arts and Sciences, and these are your general education courses. So everyone in the College of Arts and Sciences has to complete a number of COAS required courses. They range from about 42 to 43 credits in total. If you're currently registered for classes, this will be checked or it will be highlighted in blue. If you're currently registered for the class, once you finish it and a grade will appear for the semester that you took it, it will then check off a green box and highlight in yellow that you've completed that requirement. So then you pay attention to what is still needed. So you go down to the next one, which will be your freshman composition 1. Still need 1 class, and you're going to pay attention to what you're currently registered for to determine what the next class is. So if you're currently in ENGW 102, 101, or 104, then you will stick with this course code of ENGW and you will move down to the next one. So if you're in 101 or 102, you will go to 103. If you're in 104, you will go to 105. If you are not sure which English you should go to next semester, you can just send me an email and I will make sure that I let you know which English you placed into it. If you have transfer credits, then it means that these Englishes may be already completed and then you just move down to the next incomplete requirement. All right, and so for your English, you have your freshman seminar, your freshman comp 1, your freshman comp 2, your third writing, and your speech falls within that English requirement. Down here, you have your math requirement. Everybody in the University of COAS specifically is required to take 2 maths. If you're currently in math 005 or 006, you are currently in college algebra 1, okay? If you're in 5, you do not move to 6. You go to 7, 9, 12, or 156, okay? If you're in 6, you go to 7, 9, 0, 1, 0, or 0, 1, 2, or 1, 5, 6, which is calculus, okay? You do not move to 6. These are the exact same ones. So pick the next level. If you are currently in Calc 1 or you tested out of a math or Calc 1, then you are done with your math requirement. You are only required 1 math if you're currently taking 156 or transferred in 156. At that time, you now have a free elective for that other math, and you can use that course in anything that you like. So if you want to take ceramics or photography, painting, anything like that, you will be able to do that. Down here, everyone is required to do health and human performance, which are your HHBL courses. Yes, there is a swimming requirement. However, since we are now in the pandemic, this swimming is now being substituted with another HHBL course. So instead of 1 lecture, which is this health course, you may do 2 health courses and 2 activities. Or you may do 1 health course and 3 activities. And then that extra class will be the substitution for the swimming course. So again, let me repeat myself. Swimming right now is no longer accessible. All people who are required to do swimming will have to take a substitute health course or a substitute activity course to complete the requirement. Philosophy is its own separate requirement. You will have to complete a philosophy requirement. These are the philosophy courses. If you're currently in a philosophy course such as Africana philosophy or feminist philosophy, you will be able to use that as your philosophy requirement as well. Afro cluster, everybody in the university is required to do an Afro cluster. So even if you transition from the College of Arts and Sciences and you move to business or nursing or the School of Education, you will be required to still do an Afro cluster course. These are your Afro cluster courses. There are some courses that students were placed in this semester, such as Black Women in America, hydroglyphs. Those things can be petitioned to be used as your Afro cluster. So just because you're not in one of these, if you're in an Afrocentric related course or African studies related course, it can be petitioned for it to be used as your Afro cluster, okay? Down here, you have your language requirement. Everyone in the university is required to complete at least up to level 4 of one language. So you can't jump from Arabic 1 to Chinese 2 to French 3 to German 4. You have to pick German all the way up to level 4 if you're choosing German. Okay, as long as you complete a level 4 in a language, you have completed the language. If you took a placement exam, which was not required, then you could be exempted from one or more languages. So if you took the language placement exam for Arabic, then you may be exempted from Arabic 1 and 2, and you only need to complete 3 and 4. Once you have completed 3 and 4, you are pretty much done with your language. Because you did not take 1 and 2, you now need to replace the credits that you would have received for that. And that is, again, another free elective for you that you can choose in any other topic. You can choose it in a different language. As long as you choose to complete the 6 credits that you need to make sure that you get to 120, then that's perfectly fine. Down here, you have your divisional requirements. In the divisional category, they are separated. So if you go to Google and you do divisional at Howard University, and you pull up your divisional sheet, you will be able to see the breakdown of the divisional courses. On the divisional courses, they are the same as they are on the degree works. They're only giving you the course code. When you scroll over, you'll be able to see the title, and then you can click on the actual course, and then you're able to see the title of the course and a brief description. If there is a prereq, it will show here. If it's transferable from another college, you will also see it here, okay? But if you're not able to and you wanna get a full list, you can just go to the Google site and actually just review the total list. So divisional A's are humanities courses. These are gonna be your art, your literature courses, your music, and your theater courses. So anything within that realm, all of this counts for divisional A. If you need a divisional B, then those are gonna be your social sciences along with divisional C's. These two categories are interchangeable because they are both social science. So if you need a divisional B, but you accidentally register for a divisional C, then it can be used as your divisional B category class as well. If you are looking for a potential minor, then divisional Bs are the categories that you want to look at. The first course in a potential minor is usually in the divisional B and C category. So if you're thinking about being an African or Afro studies minor, then you would take that course in the divisional B. If you decided to make it a minor, then it moves to the divisional B category, and the minor category. And then you have the option to take a different divisional B to replace the requirement. Same thing for the C. If you're interested in doing a minor in econ, the first class in the econ minor is located in the divisional C. Once you made it a minor, it then becomes a minor requirement and no longer a C, and then you get the option to actually take another C of interest to you, okay? So those are going to be your divisional. And here it's telling you exactly how many you need per each divisional. So you need 4 classes of divisional A, you need 2 classes of divisional B, 2 classes of divisional C, and 2 classes of your divisional D category. As you can see from your divisional D category, they have your math listed and they have psych. If you take 2 maths, then your math will automatically count for your divisional D and your math requirement. You will not get the credit twice. You will only get the requirement fulfilled. So make sure that you understand that even though this shows in 2 locations, you're only going to get the credit in the 1 location for the math, okay? But the requirement will be fulfilled. If you're a psych major, you cannot use Psych 050 as your divisional D. It can be used as a general elective requirement, but since you're a psych major, this is psych for non-majors, and those students who are non-psych majors are the only ones that can use it as a divisional D. Moving on to the final, which is your psych major. Here you will see a breakdown of electronically what I gave you in the paper, which is your major requirements. All students have to complete 39 credits of their psych degree. It starts with your foundations and your student orientation courses. Once you take these 2 prerequisite courses, then you move on to your next prereq, which is research design and analysis. And then, yes, you have to take stats 1 and stats 2. These are not math stats. These are psychology stats. So your math stats will not count for your psych stats. Okay, you will still have to take those even if you take math stats. Down here, you will have your core content classes. These are going to be your abnormal psych, your developmental psych, your cognitive, your neuropsych, and social psych. And then you have what we call 700 courses. These are core classes. So we have the abnormal psych, which is the regular class. And then you have the abnormal psych with the writing component. If you see a 700 course that has WRTG or writing next to it, it means that it can count for both an elective and it can count for your third writing where you see the 700. Okay, so again, it's going to show in multiple places. However, you're only going to be using the credit 1 time. So that 716 course, if you take this, it's going to show in that third writing and down here, but we'll likely use the credit down here to make sure that you're completing your major. And then you have your cluster classes, which I like to tell everyone that is basically just electives. So you're going to be choosing the courses based on what your interests are once you graduate. So if you're interested in doing the Black experience in psychology, if you're interested in doing child psychology or focusing on race in the community or clinical psychology, health, you're interested in doing an independent study or research, then those are how you're going to pick your electives. And there are going to be some electives that are not listed down here that the department will add only for those semesters. For example, there is a pathopsychology that is not listed here, but it counts as your elective. So whenever you see that class, when it's time for you to register, yes, you can take the class. Yes, it will count as one of your elective options, okay? So if it's a psych course and it's under the undergraduate scheme, then yes, it can count for your psych elective, okay? So now let's get into it now that we've broken down what you're required to do for the psych. Let's get into making a schedule. So I sent you an email basically telling you what forms we will be using. So you can pull that up if you haven't pulled it up yet. And I'm going to split my screen and share it again. And I'm going to use the degree map this time because just in case you guys don't have access to DegreeWorks. All right, so now I have my actual scheme for psychology, and I'm using the scheme that I made for pre-med majors, so that's why it's a different color, but it's actually the same scheme. So on this side, I have the scheme for pre-med already highlighted and written out, and I'm going to go through everything and tell you how to make your schedule using the scheme. Even if you're not doing pre-med, you can use this to actually make your schedule, okay? And your minor and course selections will be whatever you choose them to be. And on this side, I have my academic plan. Now, once you are able to access DegreeWorks or Bison Web, you will be able to go on and actually see what courses are being offered this semester, and you will be able to fill this out completely. So I'm going to show you how to do it with the paper scheme and DegreeWorks. So let's get started. So I'm going to go slow for everyone. So on the first go round, when I meet with students, I usually tell them to fill out the first part and tell me what courses they're currently in. So I'm going to make the ideal schedule for right now, just for example's sake. So my first year, Ms. Young put me in 016, and that's going to be 1 credit. And then I'm in Psych 001, which is my foundations. And then I'm going to come over to my courses and see what else she put me in, which is usually a math. So let's say she put me in math 005. And she put me in English 102. And she probably put me in an Afro cluster. So we're going to say Afro 005, which is 3 credits. Okay, so this is my fall schedule as it stands right now. So I have 1 credit psych. I have a 4 credit psych. I have a math class that's worth 4 credits. I have an English class that's worth 3 and an Afro. Okay. Okay, so I'm down to my 15. So looking at my sheet, if you're filling in your degree scheme right now, you will go back over to your form and you will see what is the next class that you will need to take as a prereq for the spring using your degree map and your form. So I'm currently in Foundations of Psych. So the next one that I have to do is Research Design, which is number 2. So I'm going to come over to my course code, and you can use either box. You can put it here if you like, 002, and then you can write out the name of the course. It's Research and Design, and that's going to be 4 credits. I've already taken Foundations, which I know is the prerequisite for a lot of the other classes. So this time, if you've taken Foundations or Psych 050 and you transfer that credit in, you can take more core classes or electives for your psych major. So this time around, I want to take another psych course. So I'm going to do abnormals. Actually, I'm going to do neuropsych because Psych 016 is a 1 semester course, which means I do not need to take that again, so I can fill that in with another class. So for the sake of this, I'm going to do Psych 023, which is neuropsych. And that is a 3 credit class. So now I'm done with all the psych classes I want to take this semester, and now I'm going to go focus on, if you don't have a minor, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to focus on my general education because I haven't decided what I want to make my minor. So we're going to go to our divisional category. So it says I need 4 divisional A's. At this time, you can decide to pick your divisionals based on what you want to do when you graduate, or if you're in the honors program. So if you're in the honors program, then you're finding divisional A's that are honors specific, like Humanities 1 or Classics 079. So for the sake of honors, I'm just going to say I'm going to pick the Classics 079, so that I'm meeting my honors requirement. And that's going to be 3 credits. So now I know I'm completing at least one of my divisional A's, and I have 3 more divisional A's to go. I also go back over to what I took in the fall. Okay, so I have a math, and that was my first math, so I need to take my second math. But I'm looking to see if I want to take my math with my sciences and get it out of the way, or do I want to take my English? And then my Afro cluster, I only have to take 1 course. So that Afro cluster was substituted with my divisional A. So I can choose my second math. And because I want to go to medical school, let's just say I want to go to medical school, I'm going to choose math stats. And I want to prepare for the psychology statistics course. So I'm going to take that class. So right now I'm at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I can take more classes. I'm just going to finish out my Englishes and get them out of the way. And I'm going to stick with ENGW because that's what I took in the last semester. And I'm going to go to the next one, which is going to be 103. And that's going to give me my 3. And I had 14 before, so now I'm at a total of 17 credits. So this is the average schedule for a student, about 17 credits. And the reason you're going to pick 17 is because anything above 15 credits is good for a natural science major. Because you have 4 credit classes, if you drop a 4 credit class, it may put you below 12 credits and keep you financial. However, if you're taking 17 and you have to drop a 4 credit class, you're still going to be above 12 credits. So you're always financial at every time. And then you can make the credit up in the next semester. So taking anything above 15 is recommended, but not required. So I'm going to answer questions, but just please hold it for a couple more minutes. So this is going to be my ideal schedule. So you can choose a philosophy in place of the humanities. There is an honors philosophy, which is philosophy 082. You can choose a foreign language instead of your English. If you want to, you can finish the English before you graduate. We're not telling you in what semesters that you have to take these courses after the first semester. That's the only time that we pick your classes. After that, it is up to you to make sure that you're building a schedule so that you complete all of the requirements within 4 years. If you have a GPA that's higher, like 3.0, then you can take a max of 21 credits. But if it's below 3.0, then the max is going to be 18 credits. Okay, so that's why 17 is a real good average for you to occur. All right, so we now have our fall schedule is solid. I'm about to pass these classes so I can pre-register for all of these classes. So how do we register? And how do we look up the classes? Because I know that's the #1 question. How do I look up these classes, Michelle? So we're going to go back to our degree works. Let's go to this one. So on your degree works, and I'll split my screen again. You have the option, usually a week or 2 before registration opens, your degree works becomes active. You then can go on there and look up your classes. It will also be on Bison Web a couple of days before, so you can go and look up the classes. But let's just do it right here and now, and I'll make a full schedule and what you'll have to submit to me as an advisor. All right, so we'll go down to the psych because that's our first class. And when you're registering for your classes, make sure you pick your psych courses first because they have labs. If you don't pick them first, you're going to get time conflict with all the other classes. Then you'll have to delete the schedule and start again, or you'll have to pick new classes. So always pick the the 4-credit class or the class with the lab first, and then build the schedule around it. So if I click on my psych requirement, I then will be given a box that will show me what the prerequisite for that course is, and then all of the times and days I can take the course. Okay. So then what I want to do is I want to open up my schedule maker. And then I'm going to build my first schedule A. So looking at my degree works, I'm going to pick my first course. So I'm going to pick an ideal time. I don't want to get up too early. Ms. Young gave me an 8 o'clock class, and that was just not me. So we're going to do a Tuesdays and Thursdays lecture with a Monday 1 o'clock lab. And then yes, everything is in military time. So what we're going to do is go here to schedule, freecollegeschedulemaker.com, and you're going to add your first item. I usually like to change my color first, and then I'm going to make my site 002. Now at this time, you can choose to name it if you like. You can also choose to keep the CRN numbers. I always recommend you put the CRN next to the actual courses if you want. You also can put them next to the class so that you know which CRN number you actually want to register for, but it's not mandatory for you to do that. Whatever works for your brain. So then we're going to look at the time, and we're going to separate the lecture and the rest of the lecture and the labs out. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I believe it was, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:10 to 3:30, right? So 2:10 to 3:30. This is both PM. So I'm only going to do the lecture because I want to separate that lab out to see if I get time conflicts. So I can put down here that it is a lecture only. And you can put, if you want, you can say virtual. You can say it's in a class. You can add the instructor information so you know that you're going to have the correct person that you were trying to already looked up on Rate My Professor. And then now it's going to show in that location, right? And now I want to add the separate lab, which was on Mondays from 1:10 to 3:30. Or was it 1:10 to 3? Okay, so now I'm seeing how my schedule is going to shake out. It looks like Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I have my earliest class right now is at 1 o'clock. So now I'm going to go back to my degree works or my Bison web and look up my next class, which is going to be my site 023. But remember, you have stats down here. So you want to go and pick the 4-credit class first and look that up. So we're going to look up the stats course for the math first because it has a lab. And as you can see, it has a class every day. So which probably means that the lab is on either the Monday or the Friday for this course. So all of the classes look very early, but my first class doesn't start until 1. And I think I'm going to try to not do back-to-back and have a little break. So I'm going to do this one here, which is 10193. So we're going to do math stats. And I'm going to change the color again. So it's math. And it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it was just not Fridays. And I think I picked 11 to 12. Yes, 11, 10 to 12. right, and this is lecture and lab. So now I'm seeing where my math is going to show up on my schedule. And that's not too bad. I don't have an 8 o'clock class now. So we're going to keep looking. I have my 2 hardest classes in terms of the lecture and the lab times. So now we can pick English, general lit, or neuropsych to actually look up. So we're going to, since we're already up here, we're going to look up the English course. And I have plenty of English courses to choose from. And since I have a 10 o'clock and my last class is at about 3, I can either pick an early class, 9 to 10, which I think I'm going to go for that for the sake of this session. So we're going to do English 103. And we're going to do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 10 a.m. This is going to be a lecture. And we're going to add that course. So now it's breaking down. My day is starting at 9. I have a couple of breaks in between, but I still have 2 more courses that I need to add, which is the general lit and the neuropsych. So we're going to go back to divisional A. And if you cannot find a course, like general lit may not be on this divisional sheet here. So that means you probably will have to go on Bison Web and look it up. But remember one thing, if you are looking for a divisional, it's better to just write the word divisional and the alphabet that you're trying to get, so that you remember if you're not able to find classic 079, you're not panicking, because you can take any divisional A to complete the requirement. Because I was choosing classic 079, I remember that I was choosing it because it was an honors course. So I'm going to choose another honors course, which is going to be a humanities course, such as ENGL 014 or Classics 014. So we're going to open up Classics 014 to see what we have. And it looks like I'm going to have back-to-back classes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I have a slot from 10:30 to 11-ish, a 12, and then after 3 o'clock, but nothing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, really. So we're going to try to see if I can get this class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have a 11:10 to 12:30. So we're going to go with that for right now. And I'm making sure that I'm picking the honors one. You will know which ones, if you're in the honors program, you get a list. So you will know which one is honors. So Tuesdays and Thursdays from, what time did I say? 11 to 12? 11 to 12:30. Okay, and that is my lecture. And we're adding that. And now I see that I'm running into a time conflict with the math. So on Tuesdays, I cannot take this class. So that means I have to go back to the drawing board and pick another course that can fit the scheme. So it's probably going to be a late course, such as the Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So then at that time, I can undo this. And then I'm going to pick the 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock class. And we should see, I think it said 3:10, if that gives us a time conflict. Okay. So now we're back on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I have about 4 classes on Mondays and about 3 classes on Wednesdays and Fridays, and I still have neuropsych to add. At this time, you can see if this is going to be too much for you to take in one semester, but remember, at 15 credits is the average, and for natural science majors, you're taking between 17 to 21 credits. So now I'm going to do the last one, which is going to be my neuropsych class. And we're going to go back down to the site, and we're going to pick 0, 2, 3 and see what times are available. And they only have a 12:40 to 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which sounds about right. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe I can do that. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12:40 to 2. And this does not have a lab because it's only 3 credits. And now I have completely done my schedule. Now, this may be my ideal schedule of what I want it to look like. So I'm going to name this Schedule A. And then I'm going to have another schedule, Schedule B and Schedule C, that may have changed up the humanities course. If I'm not able to get in humanities or Psych 023, then I may on Schedule B have a different course that I want to take. And then you can download these, print these, save these images. Before you're able to get your pen, you will have to upload this to me so that I can review it to determine if you know how to make a schedule. And you're thinking about all the things that you need to think about when you're making your schedule. If you're going to be a natural science minor, meaning you're going to do biology or chemistry, then this second psych course may actually be your minor course. So this could be changed to chemistry or biology course. You can add, this humanity may change to a foreign language if you want to start at Spanish 1 or whatever level you placed in. If you're not sure what you placed in, just send me an email and I will let you know what your placement is. That goes for your English, your math, or your language. So pretty much this is what you will submit to me in order to be able to get your pen. You will not be able to really do this now. When they notify us the new date of the actual registration period, then I will send you your notification of when your scheme is due in order to receive your pens, okay? So I'm going to stop now and answer some questions in relation to anything that I've gone over now, or anything in relation to declaring a minor, or anything like that you want to ask. Okay, so in order to ask your question, please raise your hand and then I'll call on you and you can unmute. Jasmine.
Hey, so when is like the earliest that we'll have access to like DegreeWorks or Bison Web to be able to look at this stuff? Because like on the degree scheme, there's some classes that don't say like the number of credits and things like that. So when's the earliest that we'll actually be able to look at that kind of stuff?
So if you need to know credits, always go to the psychology website. All of these classes that you qualify for are on a PDF on the psychology website. And it tells you the description of the course and it gives you the credit amount. Now on Bison Web, the registrar has to upload the schedule for each semester. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that schedule may not be uploaded until like a week, the Monday before people are scheduled to register. So for example, honors will be able to register, military, athlete, and honors get to register a week before everyone else registers, okay? So that, that Bison Web will be accessible the Monday before they start. So you'll be able to go on Bison Web and see it. Now, I don't know when DegreeWorks will be able to populate, but Bison Web will be accessible for you the week that the honors, athletics, and military are able to register. So after they register, they usually register between Wednesday and Friday. And then the following week will be seniors first. They go on Mondays, juniors on Tuesdays, sophomores on Wednesdays, and then freshmen on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, it opens back up for people to adjust their schedule as they need, okay? So if you're honors or athletics or military, you're only gonna get that first week to get priority. And then after you miss those days or you register for those days, you go back to your regular classification day. So if you're currently athletics and you get to go on a Thursday before everyone else, once that Thursday is done, then you move back to freshman next Thursday. Sana Fatima, is that Fatima?
Yeah, thank you, Maya. It's Sana.
Sana.
I just had two questions, or just to clarify, because I did watch some of the videos, but I just wanted to like completely make sure in case I didn't like mess anything up for my future. But I didn't get placed into a math course for like this semester, and I know you mentioned that like you won't have to worry about it, but I did test into math 156 on like the Alex Proctor thing. So can I take it next semester? And does that mean that it'll be like the only math course that I'll be required to take? Like it'll check.
Correct.
Okay.
So it will not check off on your degree works because degree work still reads like you have to take 2, but the math department changed the rules. So that's why it's not updated.
Oh, okay.
So you will only have to do 156. Now, with that being said, you still have to make sure that you get to 120.
Yeah.
And then secondly, whatever you plan to do when you graduate may require an additional math, and that's up to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. That was just all the questions I had.
Chandler?
Hi, I had a question about just a minor. So if I wanted to declare a minor, how early do I need to do that to start taking minor related courses next semester?
Okay, good question. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen so I can give you the rundown about the minor. All right. I'm gonna, since we're done with that, I'm gonna go to your degree works. And I have a video on this portion that I'm about to show you, which is how to declare a minor and when you should actually declare your minor. So it's called Technology Toolbox on the YouTube page, and I posted it in the Teams group. So if you missed this portion, remember this session is being recorded, but you can also go to the Technology Toolbox to see the techniques that I'm using for degree work. So the next time that you will need to actually declare your minor is by the end of your spring semester sophomore year. Why are you telling us that, Sean? Because the first set of courses in your divisionals are, as I stated before, the first courses in minors. You should be taking your divisionals to help you decide what you want to minor in. So if you have an interest in political science, but don't know if you want to make that a minor, then you take the intro to political science in the divisional B category. If you make it a minor, then it moves to your divisional B. If you don't make it a minor, it stays, if you make it a minor, political science, your minor, it goes to your minor. If you do not, it stays your divisional B. And the same thing for all the other courses. If you're not sure what you want to minor in, if you're going to medical school, I recommend biology or chemistry. On the scheme that I attach, you will see that chemistry makes up a complete minor, and it is all of the courses that you need for med school, along with the other requirements and how they fit into your actual scheme. Biology does the exact same thing. It's about 16 credits. But if you're not sure, you will go over, when your degree works becomes active, you'll go over to what's called the what if scenario. Over here, you will choose the catalog year of 2016, 2017. You will choose your major of psychology. And then for your minor, you can go through and see what your options are for a minor. Now, some minors have concentration. So if something shows up blank, it probably means that it has a concentration or it's not available at that time. And I'll show you where you can find the list of minors within co-ops. But let's just say for the sake of this, I want to be an Afro-American Studies minor. So I'm going to choose Afro-American Studies. and I'm going to hit process what if. So now this is not a permanent change. This is just a scenario to let you know what it would look like if you decided to declare your minor as Afro Studies. And it will tell you how many credits you need to complete it. It will also tell you how many you currently registered for. So if you're currently in Afro 005, guess what? It's going to come down here to this to complete this requirement. And it will tell you if there are required courses, and then the rest are just electives. You also can go to the what if scenario, choose 2016 again, choose your major. You can choose different majors if you want to switch out of COAS and go to a different school like nursing. You can choose nursing. And you can do process what if. And then now it's going to show you the nursing pre-med requirements as well. And then it's going to tell you all the nursing courses that you need to take. So let's just say you are debating between two minors and you don't know which minor to choose from because you don't know what the classes are in any of the two minors. So you're going to go back and choose your psychology, and you're going to choose Afro-American Studies, and you're going to choose biology. And let's just say for the sake of this argument, you're debating between chemistry. And I'm going to be very difficult and do it with another one. So we're going to choose one that has a concentration. So let's do health education with a concentration in maternal and child health. So now it's showing me what major I chose and then all of the options for a minor that I'm interested in. Some process what if. And I do this when I'm advising students so that we can see all of the minor options at one time. When you do this and you choose multiple ones, your bar is going to go to like 0. But never mind that. It's just assuming that you're not registered for any of those courses. You're basically just looking to see what the classes are. So for your Afro Studies, we already did that one. For your bio, you now can see how many credits. You can click on anything with just the @ sign next to it, and then it will bring up all the classes under that scheme. So you then can see what kind of classes you can take. And then for your chemistry, you can see what the courses are, what are the prereqs for each one of the courses and the times. And then for maternal and child health, you have the option of doing maternal and child health or community health under the health education. So you will pick your 5 courses under the community health or your 5 courses under the maternal and child health, okay? And it's telling you how many credits that you will take. If you're still not sure and you want to see all the list of the COAS ones, then you would go to COAS. Howard University minors, and now you can see a list of the majors and the minors. Okay, majority of the majors can be minors, but you're going to have to explore your options. If you're going to be taking classes outside of COAS, if you're going to do minors in business administration or in engineering, it's only computer science. And communications, you can only do media journalism and film and strategic legal communication. And then there is no minor in the School of Nursing and Allied Health, okay? I hope I answered that question thoroughly. Next question. Rayana Tucker.
Okay, so I understand the minor things. And what if I'm ready to declare a minor? I know I need to sign the form, but don't I need to talk to you?
Good question. Thank you. Jasmine, you're next. So I'm going to share my screen again. So I apologize because that was part of the first question. So in order to declare your minor, you do not need to talk to me unless you are unsure. Advising is pretty much to let you know what your options are. So if you know what your option is, then you can just go ahead and actually do the form. So you'll go to the Office of the Registrar for Howard University. Underneath Office of the Registrar, you will see this link for forms. And they have changed the page. So nothing has really changed for you guys, but the way that you get to the links is actually clicking on the word. So if you want to change your major and minor, and changing or declaring your major is basically changing your major and minor. So you click here. If you are transferring from COAS to another school, then you will be doing the intra-university transfer. If you are staying within the same school and declaring your major or your minor in the same school, then you are choosing this form. And when you click on this, a Docusign document will come up, and it will ask you for your name, your information, and the advisor for that major or minor. If you're doing this form, you are adding, let's say, for example, you're doing chemistry. You can attach the chemistry advisor, or you can attach me as your major advisor. Once you add the advisor information, it will take you to the next screen. And in the next screen, let's see. It's going to ask you for the access code. When you put in the access code, it's going to take you to your final screen, which you'll fill out your personal information, and then you'll choose your actual major and your minor. So let's go to the form, because you have to fill it out correctly. Otherwise, the registrar office will actually deny the form. If my email lets me in. Okay. So Docusign will usually come to your junk mail, so you have to pay attention. Otherwise, you will miss it. So they'll give you the code here. And then you just put it in the form. And then you'll fill out your personal information here. And then when you get down here, I usually tell students, you can leave this NA if you're not changing your major. If you are changing your major, actually the website for the change your major tells you how to fill this form out correctly. And if you hover over, it tells you what to put in there. So if you're not changing your major, you can leave it blank. If you want to make sure that your major and your minor is right, I tell students to put the exact same major, to let them know, do not change my major. And then I'm going to be choosing NA for my minor if I never declared a minor. And then on this side, I'm actually going to be choosing the minor, because I'm basically saying I did not have a minor before, and now I'm declaring it as biology, okay? You will then sign there, and then once you sign and hit finish, I will get a notification saying that you completed a form and added my name, okay? And once you do that, I'll sign it. It'll then be submitted to the Office of the Registrar, where they will process the form. Only select majors have concentrations, like we did health education. So if you were changing your major from psych to health education, then before you had no concentration, now you have a concentration of maternal and child health. Oops, sorry, maternal and child health. I would just say community health, but so those are the only ones that really have concentrations, are health education and human performance. the HBL and leisure studies majors. But that's how you would declare your major. So major or minor. If you already know what you want to declare as your minor, then you can go ahead and do it. You don't need approval from me to declare your minor. Jasmine?
So I was gonna ask, like, me personally, I have transfer credits and I know that they've already been accepted, like from Bison Web and stuff, but in order to find out if they count for certain classes, for example, if I had like a statistics credit that's been counted, in order to know if that will count for my statistics requirement for psychology, do I need to have like a one-on-one meeting with you? Is there somewhere where I can make sure that the courses like line up, or?
Are you saying that the course was transferred in or it was not transferred in?
It was transferred in. I just want to know if it fulfills the requirement for some of these things that I have to do.
So you can look at it and tell just by the course code if it counts for something. So if you go to your degree sheet, the course code for the class that transfer in is going to tell you if it counts for the stats. If it's a math class, it's going to tell you if it's math 009. So it'll tell you if it's statistics or not. You can meet with me one-on-one, but I'm only going to go to your transcript and tell you exactly what I see. And that's just looking at the course code to see where it fits in. If you transfer it in a math stat, it's only math 009. If you transfer it in a psych stat, which very few people actually do, then it's going to be psych 003. Was that Jasmine that asked that question?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm looking at it like on Bison Web now. That makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Mhm. Is it Asha or Aisha?
Yeah, it's Asha. I was just wondering, how do we schedule an in-person meeting with you? Is there
Okay.
like a sign up sheet?
So good question. The system is still down, so I'm likely going to probably put out a Zoom just with my hours to drop in and meet with me. Please just keep in mind, like I told the other students, I will not be going over what I did in this session. So if you're coming in and asking me to help you pick out classes and things of that nature, that's not what your one-on-one is designed for. Your one-on-one is designed for you to get a review of what you've actually written out so that we can make sure that you understand how to make a schedule every semester and to ask individual questions or personal questions that you want to get help with. So as your advisor, I'm not going to tell you what classes are open and what classes you should be taking. Remember, in the spring, it's your choice of what you can take. I'm only telling you what's required of you to get your degree. But I will be sending out a notification letting you know either it's going to be a link to drop in every day at this time, or I'll be sending out a Zoom link that says I'm open from this time to this time for drop-ins. Cameron, sorry.
Hi, I just wanted to know where we would go to find the recording for this meeting.
I'm going to post all recordings on the YouTube page, and I will post a link for the YouTube page on here as well. If you want to review anything that I've already done on there, if you want to get a head start on understanding your graduation requirements, that is available on there. Group advising for juniors was actually posted on there for psychology majors. Exploring the psychology scheme in itself at Howard University, the different degrees that the different careers that you can pursue is also up there. How to register and go on Bison Web and register is up there. So anything that I post or record will be on that YouTube page.
Okay, thank you.
So I just posted the YouTube page in the chat box. Feel free to go on and subscribe so you'll just get notifications every time a video comes available. Any other questions? Okay, well, if there are no,
Thank you.
you're welcome. If there are no other questions, I want to thank everyone for attending. Please keep on the lookout for your drop-in email. And you can drop in to ask your quick questions or to get a glimpse of your schedule. If there are no other questions, you guys have a great day. It was a pleasure meeting with you today.